Hey everyone, Danny James here, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make cool text message pop-ups for music videos inside of Adobe After Effects. Let's get into it. Let's go. Okay, I have some footage here. You can see she's just chilling at the bar. I want us to add these text notification pop-ups. So first thing, I just want you to find this pen tool. Just click and hold if you can't see the pen tool, and if you also click and hold, you also see other options for the pen tool. With the pen tool, I will create a rectangle real quick, create 4 subsections. Make sure you hold shift so that you can hold it in a straight line and then connect it back. Switch back to your selection tool. You can highlight on a specific point and just try to match it and make it a perfect rectangle. So I think that's good. Now we'll need to create an additional point, so just make sure to have clicked on it. Hold while clicking here on the pen tool and create an add vertex tool so that you can create an additional point, and you want to create it right at this edge. You want to create 1, 2 points. Click, switch back to your pen tool, then drag these like this so you can see what you're trying to do. Once that is established, go back to that shape layer right below, click here and then click on add so that you can add round corners. Drop down that menu, change this value to 20, so just increase that value to 20 and you should have some round corners on it. I'll create one more text box just for the reply because it will need to be on the other side, this small juncture. So I will do the same process. So we've created 2 boxes now. One is for the sender, another one for the receiver. So I'll just duplicate this one once more by hitting Ctrl D, then drag it down here. And then I will also try to visualize how they would appear maybe on a phone. It will be maybe slightly on the left hand side, and then this one will be something like this. I'll zoom out just to make sure I'm seeing the right thing. One more tip is that when you are creating these shape layers, just lock your main footage so that you don't click on it either by accident when trying to move these points. Now I will click on the 3 items, place them somewhere here where I can envision myself placing them, and I think that's a good starting point. Now we'll need to pre-comp all these layers individually and also make sure to arrange them such that you can also understand them. So I want the first one on top, the second one, and then the third. Now I will pre-comp them individually, pre-comp them, and now it's time to start creating the text. Double click, go into that text, zoom in, get your text tool, and then you can type something like, hey, what's popping? And then I'll probably this one make this text a bit large. And then one more thing, I will duplicate that text, Ctrl D, drag this one down, and then let's just have an eye for detail. Put time, maybe 3:13 p.m. Okay, let's be realistic, 8:30 p.m. and then I will highlight the time, make it smaller, make the text smaller, go back to my selection tool and take it to this right hand side. So I think we have something good going on. Make sure your text is black. I'm also using Monsterrat as my main font. Maybe we can make sure the light is on the time and then the main text can be on a regular. Yeah, I think this is all right. And then we'll just animate it just a little bit. Go to your effects and look for typewriter. It's already a preset. Now you can click right under your layer on that arrow, click under the text once again so that you can see the animator one and then the range selector. Then you can put these keyframes near to each other so that you can see the text coming in. And then under the options, you can either choose to create this animation character after character or word after word. So I prefer character after character. That's perfect. So I can play it back. That's perfect. And then for the text that shows the time, we can add an opacity keyframe. So just hit T, create that keyframe, push that to a few frames ahead, and then start it at something like 5. so that as the text appears, the time also appears. So I will squeeze it a bit to my left, a little bit more. Yeah, so we want to create something like this, and then we will do the same thing for the other pre-composed layers. I will do that myself. I won't take you through that process, because all I have to do is just to copy these two text boxes and then open them into the other pre-comps, paste them, place them well, and then I'll re-edit the text. So I'll replace the text. I'll say the response was just got off work. And then I will also have an eye for detail and change the time, maybe just offset it by 1 minute, put 8:31 p.m. And then for this text box that has the reply, we need to change the colors, make it something a bit bluish. So just click on the fill, and then I will grow for something bluish. Okay, that's good. And I hope you also noticed that for the main text box, I made sure that it's gray by default. If you need to check the color, that's the code C7C7C7, in case you need to copy paste it. I will do the same thing for the last response. So now if we go at our main comp, this is how everything is shaping up. So you can see we have everything animated properly. Now all we need to do now is just to move the pre-comped layers according to the conversation. So I'll just move this on here, move this on here to my right hand side, and just make sure that it flows well. Okay, I think the framework of these text layers looks good. Now it's just a matter of adding a little bit of spice. Now first thing I'll do, I'll just go to my effects and look for glow, drop it on my first layer. You can use the universe glow, sapphire glow, any glow that you have. Just don't rely on the inbuilt After Effects glow. Then add a drop shadow. So we'll work on the first one and then we'll copy paste the effects onto the next one. I'll disable the drop shadow, go to the universe glow. I will increase the threshold up to 90s. Then I will reduce the size up to around 2 point something. And then I will reduce the intensity to around 0.4. 0.5 looks good. And then I will go to my drop shadow, reactivate it, set it at 45 or 90 degrees, and then I will increase the opacity. You can't see it right away, but you can just see it right here. If I have to render it in full so that you can see the drop shadow. So you can increase the opacity just a little bit, and you can see how the direction affects. Okay, that's all you need to do. So now I'll just hold shift and click on the two effects, and then I will paste them again on the third reply, which has the same text box, which is in gray. It should look now like this. And then I will go into the one that is in the middle. I'll paste it, but yet again I'll need to go to the glow settings, change the threshold and the intensity so that it can also be a bit more apparent. Yeah, so you can see without the glow, with the glow. I think that looks good. Now if I zoom out, this is what we've created. Yeah, so that's really simple. Now from here, all you need to do is just add keyframes for scaling. So on the first pre-comp, I will hit S, but before I add a keyframe for scaling, I want you to find this tool here, and that is the anchor point tool. Put the anchor point tool, which is this anchor point, put it at the corner of your conversation box. And now I'll add a keyframe for scaling, push it maybe 3 keyframes away, start it at 5 so that it pops in like this. Make sure to set it on easy ease. You can always work on the spacing later on. And then I'll do the same thing on the second one. Hit S. Before I add a keyframe, I'll just go to this tool once again. This is the anchor point. I'll put it on this other corner. Then add a keyframe for scaling. Push that one since that's our end result. And then start it at 5. And do the same thing on this other one. Now here's the last thing we need to do. We just need to do a little bit of tracking on her hands. I will unlock that footage. find my trackers tab, click on window, click on tracker, find the trackers tab here. Make sure to click on the video first and then click on track motion. It will give you one track point. Just enlarge it how you want. Find somewhere with a good contrast. I'll go for her eyes. Okay, then I'll track these moving forward. Okay, we are done tracking the movement of her eyes. Okay, now all you need to do is just edit the target under the tracker, ensure it's on the null object, and then apply those settings. And then we can now even delete the trackers from the clip itself, such that if we hit U on the null object, we have our trackers already. Now all you need to do is just to hold shift and click on the 3 layers, and then make sure to toggle between switches and modes, and then parent them to the null object. Okay, we don't need the trackers after this point, so we can as well as delete them and also delete those keyframes, and then you can cut the precomps at the end. Finally, you can add some sound effects for typing on keyboard. I got this from YouTube, so I will link them down below. Bring them here, hit L twice so that you can see the waveforms. You can also hit L once and reduce the audio levels. Duplicate these twice, just spread it around and make sure there is some breathing space between each of them. And now we should have something like this. And yeah, that's an easy way to make cool text message pop-ups for music videos inside of After Effects. Just try to follow my procedure as it shows. I will also have the project file for this tutorial linked below in case you're interested. Again, feel free to check out my digital store at dannyjames.co for preset packs and lots that you might find useful. My name is Danny James. See you guys on the next tutorial. Peace.